Hey, great Monday evening, everyone. Great Monday evening, and welcome to another edition of Conversations with Chosen Pen. I am Dr. Anissa Short. Super excited. Thank you so very much for carving out time in your evening to hang out with us in your social media space. Whether you follow us on Facebook or you have subscribed to our YouTube page, be sure to join us each and every Monday night as we have somebody on to talk to about something extremely important always. We're continuing our theme on childhood literacy, and I have two more champions with us tonight. These women have two things in common. They are authors and they are educators. Can you get excited? So before we meet them, though, I want to go ahead and just extend to you another apology or extend to you regards from Dr. Norma McLaughlin. The thing about it is that she's in high demand. So she had to be in two places at one time. And even though the virtual world is dynamic, it cannot allow us to do that at the same time. Let's be clear. So she sends her regards. She will be back soon. We're going to continue our series on champions for childhood literacy throughout this month, of course, as already stated, but we're going to carry it into November as well, because we have more authors that we want you to meet. We want to do our part to give them exposure and to introduce you to them, introduce them to you, and then, of course, to let you know a little bit about the work they're doing. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. These two ladies I have had the opportunity of meeting. I don't know, it was pre-pandemic for real. Can you imagine that's how we use the point of reference now? Was it before the pandemic or after the pandemic? So I met both of them. Trinity Bursey lives right here in the metropolitan Fayetteville, North Carolina. She's a North Carolinian. So she's right here in our general area. And then Whitney Barkley is out of Ohio. Now, you're still in Ohio, right?
I am. I'm in Dayton, Ohio now.
She hasn't. Okay, Dayton. You're still Ohio, it's a different city. So one of the things, as I said earlier, that both of these ladies have in common is that they are both authors and they are both very much engaged educationally with the development of minds. Let's just say it that way. So I have their bios, but let's just do something a little different. Rather than me read their bios verbatim, I'm going to allow them to tell you a little bit about themselves, give their personal perspective of what they do from a literacy standpoint, and then to tell you a little bit about their book or books and how you can find them. So let's start first with Trinity. Miss Bursey. Hey, Miss Bursey, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I know it's been a while since we've seen each other. When I first met you, Lyric was your first book, and you were on your whirlwind tour to talk about your first book, but now you've written, I think, one or two others. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about your book and how people, what's the resonating theme or the message that your book offers to young minds and how they can find you.
Yeah. So I have quite the background. My dad was in the military, so I've lived kind of all over the place, grew up in England, and I loved basketball, played for the Tar Heels, go Heels. And I always loved to read and loved to write since I was a kid. And so I kind of really found that passion again after I graduated with my undergrad. And as you said, I have my first book, The Little Piano, follows Lyric. And now my second book, The Day the Instruments Split. And this book, the first book really focused on loving yourself, understanding your worth. And the second book kind of takes it a step further by realizing that we're all unique and we're all amazing in our own way. And that what I can do and what you can do doesn't have to be threatening, but we can work together and make something beautiful. So in my newest book, it teaches the importance of unity. It teaches the importance of working together and how we can actually learn to embrace our differences and live in harmony. So it's a fun kind of take because they're instruments. And so harmony can be used as far as their musical sound and plus the way they interact with each other and love each other.
Now you had your book the first book. I'm more familiar with that one because when I met you, that was the only book at the time in which you had it translated. It's not only in English, but it's also in Spanish. Did you have it translated to another language as well?
Just Spanish for right now. So yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty exciting.
How well has your book been received? Tell us a little bit about some of the feedback that you're getting from parents and or children.
Yeah, it's been received really well. I've had a chance to actually go to a few summer camps with schools, and the kids just love it. I kind of tie in the themes, like I said, with unity. We do different little activities after the book is read aloud. And we kind of really let them see how they're more powerful together, how embracing our differences really does help make the world a better place. And you can see that from the book. When they're fighting each other and wanting to separate, the world goes haywire. But when they actually come back together, you can see how the world comes back together nicely, and how their music just really, makes the town a better place. So it's a great visual for kids, and the activities that we do as well really helps to resonate with them the power of unity and being together.
I love the fact that you use instruments to tell the story, because I know, as I said before, when I met you, lyric, the piano was the instrument of the day, and with your message about harmony, those of us who embrace music, who enjoy music, we understand the significance of when the harmony is right. And we also know when
Right.
things have gone totally wrong, when the harmony is
Right.
not there as it should be. I think it's great that you've used all of the different instruments to tell the story, because people can relate to that. The practicality of the message is so simplistic that everybody can understand. So what do you have coming next? Do you have anything in the works?
So I have a couple of read alouds coming up next. I'm going to be working with the Fayetteville Symphony. Like I did with my first book, we did a kind of a project where we had some of the musicians come in and play along as I read. So that's in the works. As I said, some school visits, and yeah, I'm excited just to kind of, people already met lyrics. So I'm excited for them to meet the new friends, the new instruments. So it's pretty exciting.
So tell us how we can find your books. Let's say someone wants to purchase them either for their children, grandchildren, or maybe for their classroom. Where would they find you?
The best place to find books would be on Amazon. Go ahead and go to Amazon, purchase a book. It's a great way to do that. And if they want to also book me as a speaker to their school, they can find me on social media. It's a great way to get in contact with me.
Okay. Is your social media handle your full name?
It is.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So stay tuned. We're going to introduce you to Whitney, and Whitney, of course, has already met you. Whitney, welcome again. Thanks for hanging out with us all the way from the state of Ohio. It's been a blast, and you've had a lot of things that happen. When I first met you, you had the Pink Lemonade podcast. I'm assuming you still have that, but you are a woman of many hats. So tell us a little bit about you, the book that you have, or books, I should say, that you have published since we last talked, and what's coming up soon.
Wow. So there's a breadth of things that I've been doing that I've been able to participate in. But thank you first and foremost for allowing me the opportunity to be a part of this show today. Just to give a little bit of perspective about where I am. So I'm the author of Hey Black Girl. So Hey Black Girl is a book that I wrote because I wanted to help Black girls understand how to love themselves now. I wrote this 2 years ago in Las Vegas, Nevada, after a conference. It was actually 7:00 in the morning, and the words "Hey Black Girl" came to me, and I wanted to create this book because this was me remembering my inner child. I was going through so many different things. We had our global pandemic. I was going through a divorce at the time, and I was just thinking about, like, my whole world is crumbling. What are the words or the things that I wish that I could hear right now in this moment? And then I started thinking about things that I heard as a child, things that made me feel good, the things that I didn't hear. And so the words just started to come together. So Hey Black Girl is really an affirmation for young Black girls to love themselves right now. So I came out with that book, and it's been an amazing journey since I've started, since you met me. And it's I've written a children's book, but I've also gotten into illustrations as well. So I plan to publish another children's book called Relax. And it's all about a 5th grader who decides to take her lunch money to purchase a relaxer in the 90s to give herself her own relaxer. So she learns some lessons, some very hot lessons along the way, needless to say. But I'm excited because this will be the first children's book that I will have written and illustrated. Outside of me being an author, I'm the director of a business incubator. I work in Dayton for the Greater West Dayton Incubator. Our role is really just working with business owners to get them connected to the resources. Traditionally, West Dayton has been an underrepresented, under-resourced area. So we want to make sure that they're getting tapped into the resources that are available to grow business, honestly. So that's what I've been doing with the last year of my life, in the midst of learning how to draw illustrations and, ultimately just being an advocate for girls to love themselves.
I love it. I love it. So tell me though, Whitney, I noticed that I remember when Hey Black Girl first came out, the imagery, everything was, the message was all positive and powerful, no doubt about it. But you've, aside from the children's books, you have started doing journals, making journals. Tell us a little bit about that as well.
Oh, absolutely. So, in this stage of my life, my new venture is called Love Yours Stationery, and that just kind of continues that message of loving yourself where you are. Love yours is something that's really important. I actually have it tattooed, so love yours is something that's very important for me, because you have to love your life where it is. I think sometimes we get caught up in destination happiness, like we think that we're supposed to be somewhere else instead of loving where we are right now in this moment. And so Love Yours is really just a bold declaration to love where you are and really just love that process, whether it's your career, whether it's your personal life, whether it's your relationship with other families. How can you utilize affirmational products like greeting cards, notebooks, journals, planners? How can you use those things to really create a life that you love?
I love it. I love your illustrations. I've watched your little video clip. I don't know if it was a TikTok or a reel or both, but you actually assembling the actual journal, one of the journals anyway. Let me tell you one of the things that we are excited about here at Chosen Pen, and why this series is so important to us. For those of you who follow us, and you may or may not know this, well, those who are watching probably do, because we've talked about it so many consecutive weeks, is in the month of September. Several representatives from Chosen Pen had an opportunity to go to South Africa with Dr. Norma McLaughlin. So she had an opportunity, or was presented opportunity, to be a part of a TEDx forum. And her campaign of literature and information, books and things of that nature on the topic of forgiveness afforded her an opportunity to be a part of a mental health panel. Long story short, in the course of us being there, the curator of the tour, Nico Too Good with Black Authors Matter, presented Dr. Norma with an idea to start what I graciously call the FAB tour, but it's Forgiveness Across Borders, which is what it represents. And so she's going to begin hosting a yearly tour to South Africa. And one aspect of the visit is not only the TEDx opportunity, where authors can come and be a part of the TEDx platform and participate in panel discussions relative to their books, but there's also the childhood literacy segment of it as well. Schools are being adopted, books are being donated. And so one of the things that we endeavor to do here on stateside is to take the campaign a little further. It's not just about Chosen Pen in and of itself making an impact, but it's us coupling and affording opportunity to other authors who may have children's books and would love for their books to be presented to children in the country, on the continent of Africa. So not only are you, Whitney, and you, Trinity, afforded this opportunity to join us, you can do it various different ways. You can jump on board and go to Africa with us, or I know, right? You can get more information about that from Dr. Norma, because she would love it. We're going in March. That's Women's History Month. So she's really passionate about having as many female authors as possible. But you also can be what we call an author advocate. Those are the people who have written children's books. They may not be able to make the actual trip, but they would like to donate books to send to the students in Africa. We can make that happen as well. And then, of course, we're taking it a step further, because some people can be allowed opportunity to be, what do I call it? Ambassadors. Let me just say it that way. They're going to be there. They may choose to be an ambassador, and that's a little more of a detailed responsibility, but all of those options and all of those opportunities are afforded to anyone who's connected to Chosen Pen. So Whitney, we appreciate not only what you've done a great job of giving voice to the works of others, and now taking it even to another level by the work you're doing now in Ohio, but your work along with we lost Trinity. Let me see if I can get her back in. I think she was having
connection issues. All right.
Connection issues, yeah. I can't let her in, unfortunately. Oh, goodness. Unfortunately. But anywho, as I was saying, both of you will have opportunity, if you desire, to either travel with us. Limited spaces. I think 40 authors is the max for that tour. and people are showing a lot of great interest to be a part of that whole campaign. But not only that, if you can't participate in that way this time, there may be opportunities in the future. You always can be an author advocate where your books can be presented. We have adopted a school. I don't know the name of it, but we'll be working in Johannesburg, South Africa. During the trip in September, we went to Johannesburg for the TEDx conference, but then we went to Botswana and worked with students in Botswana. So the books will be shared. Let me just say that. And the students, the young people in Africa are ecstatic. They were super excited about the books that we brought because, of course, you know, they have limited resources, totally different from what we have in the U.S. But it did our hearts glad, or did our hearts good, for them to be excited to see books written by people of color that look like them and that featured imagery and illustrations of children that look like them. So the messaging, of course, also was very important. And we actually had an opportunity to have conversations with the young people. They're wanting to write, they're wanting to tell their stories. And so needless to say, Chosen Pen is excited about that. Trinity, I apologize. We had technical issues. You were there for a minute, then you were gone, and I don't have the ability to bring you in. So hopefully that'll change shortly. So Whitney, I don't think we got how we could connect with you. If anyone were interested in securing your book or your journals, where will we find you?
It's all in one place at loveyourstationery.com. My book is available there as well.
Spell that out for us if you would.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's LUVYORSSTATINERY.
Okay, because you know we would have been LOVE.
I know.
We would have just been all over the place trying to find you. Well, ladies, listen, thank you again for hanging out with us in the Zoom room. I said the Zoom room. I said it so much on this social media platform. Thank you so much for sharing who you are, the work that you're doing, a little bit about the books that you've published, how we can connect with you, and definitely be in touch with us if you're interested in joining us in South Africa in some capacity. If not this year, definitely next year for sure. Until then, that's the end of our broadcast today. So thank you again, Whitney. Trinity, I apologize for the technical issues. We're just going to call it a night. In the meantime, you know, technology sometimes just won't let us be great. As much as we try to do our very best, things happen. And this is just one of those times things have happened. So with that being said, on behalf of Dr. Norma McLaughlin and everyone that's attached to Chosen Pen Publishing, thank you once again for hanging out with us before another episode of Conversations with Chosen Pen. And we look forward to seeing you next Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern at the same time, same place. Have a great day.